Hello, I'm Jashykins, and oh my god, this week's episode totally fucking awesome. And this video is, of course, about the Fringe episode Letters of Transit. The only problem with the episode, though, was it was random. It was just like, poof. So yeah, that was the only problem. The good side was, hang on, let me adjust this a little bit. The only problem was that, well, it was just, random. It was just there. It basically started after, way after the last episode. So we had no clue what was going on, but it was still fucking awesome. The first thing that was fucking awesome was the opening. The opening was chained especially for this. The opening starts off with, a scroll, just saying this, the observers came and blah, 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 blah. And it was just like, meh. I mean, the whole thing with, observers being the bad guys, I sort of knew that since before the episode aired, like after, last week's episode where they were, giving a preview for this episode. And it was just like, oh, observers are evil. And I was just like, I mean, that really took my breath away for maybe 2 or 4 days. But it did give a little more backstory than observers are evil. They went to the future, destroyed the planet, and are coming back to take over the planet. Oh boy. But yeah, that part didn't make any fucking sense. But the opening, after the crawl and after, I guess, the conflict, well, not conflict, the fact that they found Walter Bishop and they going, and the main lady, Henrietta. Spoiler alert, she is Peter's daughter. Instead of Henry, it's Henrietta. So, yeah. After that happens, the opening sequence happens, the title sequence is totally fucking changed. First off, Fringes usually, its openings have different type of fringe sciences. If you're wondering, yeah, that's basically what they are. So, it's instead doing like hope, blah blah blah. It's really fucking depressing, and then it pulls back from like a concentration camp, and the title comes up in a modified way than it usually does. And it's just like, yeah, really fucking awesome opening. And well, the basic summary of it is that these two fringe people get Walter, unamber him, along with Astrid, and also Peter. And so that's basically what happens. But it is just so fucking funny. I mean, Walter, for part of this episode, totally fucking nuts. I mean, Walter is nuts. Yeah, Walter's nuts. But it's even more nuts than normal. That is awesome. And also, we get to sort of see a different side to Walter this time. We actually get to see an evil side of Walter a little bit. And it's hinted that it's hinted that Olivia might have died and might have been William Bell's fault. At least that's Rev Resner's theory. I really have no fucking idea. Anyways, about the observers themselves, they've fucking taken over. It's an oppressive society. It's broken up in the natives, which are those that sort of don't go with the observers, I guess. There's a bunch of different terms. I forgot to look it up. But there's loyalists. I believe those are, for the observers. And the observers, use their telekinetic powers to tell whether or not someone's dangerous. And there's something I actually want to look at. It's actually one of the theories I found on Fringepedia that's actually pretty fucking interesting. It's the observers seen in this episode are not really observers as we have previously known them and are a distinct group, perhaps imposters. I highly doubt that they're imposters. And the reasons for supporting this theory is observers do not at any point engage in their typical behaviors, mimicking speech, what's fucking annoying. Who is Jean Galt? Sorry, I watched Atlas Shrugged Part 1, and that should be like the fucking catchphrase. That's what I'm going to use to answer every fucking question from now on. And they let us know observers seen writing their symbols. The observers do not use their typical array of tools, but then someone that's saying, hey, that's probably not right. Because Windmark, one of the observers, uses his kinetic ability to kill a person. And there are other things that are basically saying no. And the thing is, though, I disagree with this just because it was mentioned previously by September himself that, well, the observers aren't just one group. The ones like December and September and August were part of the science team. So that sort of implies that, there's different rankings. There's just not one observer group. Another person brought out this point that, there's been no female observers. And, one of the observers this week was trying to hit on this woman. Well, not really hit. It's really fucking rapey-ish. No, it was rape. It would have happened. Yeah. But all in all, this is a great fucking episode. And I want Fringe to continue so we can see, what led up to this point and how it'll be resolved. Because the ending was this one cliffhanger. And you're just going, what happens? Oh, I can't wait to find out in next week's episode. And something totally fucking different. Yeah, that's the only problem. There's a fucking cliffhanger without a possibility of it being solved. Basically, at the end, there's Astrid and Walter who might be going evil. Because he starts to sort of use his Walternet voice. Creepy. And then there's Peter and Henrietta, and Henrietta basically says, that it implies that she's his daughter, and he goes, Henrietta! And my dad, who I'm watching it with, and who's only watched the first maybe 4 or 5 episodes of season 1, was like, what? What's going on? And I was like, afterwards. Hang on. Because, yeah, for those who, maybe I said this in the beginning of this video, but anyways, this, previously on a Fringe episode, I can't remember which episode, the glyph spelled out Henry, and in one of the following episodes, I really can't remember, the observer September says, hey, you had a son with Bolivia, his name was Henry. So yeah. So that's what I was Henrietta, for those who forgot. And right now I'm going on Fringepedia to easily look up when that series of glyphs was played. There's one part of here it is. There's one part on Fringepedia where you can look up all the glyphs. And the episode was that the Henry glyphs appeared in was in A Better Human Being, Season 4, Episode 13. So yeah. Now this episode was fucking awesome, and this is like a reason for Fringe to be on the air, not to be taken down. Save Fringe! And I've gone way over my usual time limit. And until next video, goodbye!